Playboi Carti, the famous hip-hop artist out of Atlanta, Georgia, has influenced and inspired an entire new generation of artists. How did Playboi Carti do this, and where does this lead us in the future? Playboi Carti was never that influential to the hip-hop scene until his release of Whole Lotta Red. Now, before I delve into how Whole Lotta Red influenced the entire hip-hop scene, I just want to say that Playboi Carti was already very popular and had tons of hype for Whole Lotta Red before the release. But that was because of his previous projects, those being Self-Titled and Die Lit. In my opinion, Die Lit is what truly started his influence. Maybe it wasn't quite what his influence is today, but you could see the start of it. You'd see people tweet, "He trying to be Carti" all the way back in 2018. It wasn't nearly as much, but you could see the start of the trend. Then, Christmas 2020. Playboi Carti finally released his highly anticipated album, Whole Lotta Red, and it changed everything for the hip-hop scene. You can still see his influence of Whole Lotta Red today. One example being NBA YoungBoy recently released his new album, I Rest My Case. You can hear heavy Carti influence, almost to the point where it seems like YoungBoy is paying homage to Carti, even titling a song Red, seemingly saying thanks to Carti for changing up the sound so he could have some new beats to rap on. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing at all. NBA YoungBoy is more than allowed to rap on different types of beats than just his standard type of beat that he raps on. But you could see the influence throughout that album very clearly. Now, I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing, because honestly, the whole Playboi Carti Whole Lotta Red sound is starting to not die off, but wear down a bit, just because the sheer amount of people who have been rapping on it. Now, you didn't see the influence of Whole Lotta Red immediately. However, the first big influence from a new artist was YEET with Alive in April of 2021. As we know now, YEET is massively successful, and mostly on the back of the unique sound Playboi Carti created with Whole Lotta Red. I'm not trying to discredit the amount of work YEET has put in, because he has truly worked so hard to get where he is, but YEET would not be here without Playboi Carti releasing Whole Lotta Red. Yes, you can make an argument that he was already tapped in with Carson, who was already headed toward the Whole Lotta Red sound before it even released. But I think Carson was also influenced by Carti with Whole Lotta Red. Again, yes, he was on that sound before Carti, but he didn't quite get to where he's at until he signed with Carti and released Project X. And you can't mention Ken without mentioning Destroy Lonely, who you can make an argument that he'll be the biggest one out of everyone influenced by Carti. Destroy Lonely has been making massive waves since he released his debut album No Stylist this past summer. Destroy Lonely also has more of that mainstream appeal rather than YEET and Carson. Now yes, YEET is a mainstream artist now, but I think if you were to give an average person a YEET song and a Destroy Lonely song, they'd probably lean more toward the Destroy Lonely song. Now, you could find a person who's randomly a huge YEET fan and, they're, "Oh, I love YEET," and that's totally possible. YEET has a ton of fans. I just think that Destroy Lonely has a bit of that more mainstream appeal sound that's going to hit your ears easier, that will be able to have radio play. I'm not saying any of his songs now have radio play, maybe No Stylist. I don't know if there's a single YEET song that has radio play. You could make the argument for Rich Minion, but I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. We will see. Now, if I was to stop here, you'd think, okay, Carti influenced 3 guys, and they've been pretty successful. Who else? Since Whole Lotta Red, we've gotten so many more underground artists that haven't been able to make nearly as many waves as Carson, YEET, and Lone. However, they still have been influenced massively by Playboi Carti's Whole Lotta Red. Artists like Cochise, Lancey Foe, Homicide Gang, who just recently signed with Opium, not recently, but within the past 8 months, I want to say, and Hard Rock, to name a few. So, where does this lead us for the future? I think we are in great hands, in my opinion, because Playboi Carti has signed Carson, Destroy Lonely, and Homicide Gang. So, seemingly, Carti sees how much people love the Whole Lotta Red sound, and love how it has evolved from what Carti released with Whole Lotta Red. I eventually think Carti will take a more label management role in a few years possibly after his next album? I say that because Carti already started a label and will eventually want to just relax. Maybe I'm wrong and he'll be more like Kanye, where he has a label and has artists that he signs, but still wants to release his own music and possibly have his own signees on that album to help promote them. Obviously, this is a thing Carti could do. Carti's the type of person that I see him just being like, I made my money, I'm ready to just chill, be with my kid when I can, and just be Carti, whatever that entitles. And I get it, a big part of his life is making music, but I just don't know if he's going to constantly want to be that guy that people look to for new innovating sounds in hip-hop. I think eventually he's going to want to just relax and take a break. Just the fan base he's created, not that this is a bad thing, but the fan base he's created are so eager for new Carti music that they will probably wait a decade. If Carti was to say, I'm not releasing another album after this next one for 10 years, I bet you he'd still have a decent amount of hype in 10 years. Maybe not as much as he would if you were to wait 5 years, but 10 years, maybe. I don't know. Carti seems to be that type of guy who's filling in the role for Kanye, in my opinion. He's weird, he's different, yet he loves the hip-hop scene, and everyone loves Carti. Like, no one has beefs really with Carti, it seems. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Lastly, I don't want to make it seem like these artists aren't great on their own. They are. I personally love the music YEET, Ken Carson, and Destroy Lonely make, and all the underground artists I named. I just don't think they'd be nearly as popular without the release of Whole Lotta Red. I'm sure they listened to that album and thought, wow, this is so different yet so hard. I can make something similar to this and put my own twist on it. For artists like YEET, Ken, and Lone, they were successful enough to make their own careers out of it, and that is truly amazing. I can't wait to see what Playboi Carti has in store for his next album. Hopefully it has the same amount of influence Whole Lotta Red had, because seeing the different artists take influence from Carti and making their own sound with it was so cool to see in real time. No doubt that I think Playboi Carti has been cooking in the studio, and I think we are all ready to be amazed again by Carti and see what the effect it'll have on hip-hop. Thanks for watching.